I'm sorry, folks, but the video that I posted earlier today, evidently Facebook either blocked it or took it down. But we were talking about floating napkins to do monograms or embroidery on. And this is one of my finished products. And I'll go through and show you how to do the hooping of it to float. So we'll set this aside. And I'm using, on my 550E, this is the SQ14B hoop is what I'm using. Then I use the tearaway. I believe these are what, 9-inch square tearaway sheets that come on a, like a notepad, and you just tear off what you need. I just place, I have to sit this down for just a sec so you can see what I'm doing. Let's see if this works. That work? A little bit. Anyway, I press this down. I'll excuse the mess in the background. All right, there. All right, so that's pressed down, and it's pretty taut. You can play it like a drum. And then I take the mesh. This is like a poly mesh. The embroidery stores where I get these, they are about 7.5 by about 6. So what I do is I line this up like in the middle, and then I take a piece of tape and tape it down just like that at the top, and then at the bottom just like that. Okay, and then this is your best friend. Okay, make sure you're putting it on here. Press it down, make sure you're in all those little slots. I take and use, I just use a fine point Sharpie, and I mark each location with the dot in the little holes that they have. That helps you center up things. Now, an old trick too is that you've got these little pivotal points that are in each one. That also tells you where your centers of each thing is. Now what I do is on the napkins, let's see here, I have 20-inch dinner napkins, and if you want a really good place to buy them wholesale, I'm talking like $4 to $7 a dozen, I can give you the hookup on that. Sometimes he's a little slow getting things mailed out because I think he's dealing with some health issues, but he is the provider for all hotels. So these are first quality. Now what I normally do is I have, this is one of my favorite tools. It's got a level on it and everything. But these napkins are right at 20 inches. Let's see, it's a little different when the, pull that out from under there. And I basically come up about 4 or 5 inches from there. This one actually is working to be about 19 5/8. So I also use Taylor's chalk, which either irons or washes out. So 19 5/8 would be 9 3/8, if I'm not mistaken. So I just put a very light, teeny tiny blue mark there. And so then I take my hoop and I place it with this toward me, and I put my napkin over it. One thing that I use as a rule of thumb to put it good spacing and everything is I bump it up to the edge right here. And that just puts it in such a perfect place for the monogram. And as you can see, here's the blue, and then this is over here. So I need to pull over a little bit and eyeball it. And then I pull this down. All right. Now let me pin that right quick. Hold on. I use larger hat pins than a regular straight pin when I'm doing my hooping, my floating hoops. It just, to me, of course I'm old, and it's easier for my hands to be able to use the hat pins. Now, what I do here is you can still see the little blue mark right here. Y'all excuse my finger. I almost cut it off one time, so it looks kind of grody. But I roll this back so you can still see the blue mark, and make sure that blue mark is lining up at the top, which it is. If it doesn't, you just kind of pull over till it does, and then push this way, and then pin. I'll pin and take another snapshot.